Hey guys, I'm Yulia. I'm from Russia and I'm happy to introduce you to my country as well as to my own city of Moscow.
Recently, I've been reflecting on how kids are actually free in their way of thinking and behaving. Being a little child, you don't have limits or preconceptions, and the thing is that it's good only in childhood. Then, the society dictates the stereotypes and manners that everyone has to follow in case he or she wants to be considered an adequate person. Some of such kind of rules vary according to the cultural aspects. So I want to talk to you about our Russian cultural differences. And today I'd like to discuss questions which are not really comfortable to ask among us. By the way, I'm pretty sure that this list is very similar to that in the other countries as well. But there will definitely be some differences. Basically, quite all the questions about one's private life might not be appropriate, but the extent of comfort is distinct. I have distinguished four main groups of such topics, but it's very probable that there are more than that. I've arranged them in alphabetic order because I'm not sure which is more private and which is less. So they are body and appearance, then family and relations, money, and finally religion. Body and appearance. It's better not to ask questions about one's body because they may appear rather offensive. There are no ideal people in our world, so questions that somehow touch one's personal imperfections can be very untactful. And it's difficult to get into one's mind and understand what he or she doesn't like about him or herself. So it's better not to ask unless you are not that close. But even if you are, some questions can also make someone offended. These are the questions about size, weight, or diseases. For example, how much do you weigh? Is not the best question to maintain a conversation. Weight is a big issue for many women in our country. Also, in case you consider them not fat, they may do. And you better let them tell you their weight themselves. Sometimes the fear to offend somebody is rather exaggerated. For instance, there was a girl at my university and through all our years of study, she had awful makeup. Nobody gave her a single hint about it. The thing is not that I didn't like it because of my taste, but because it was really not tidy or smooth, with spots and a lot of badly applied cover-up. I was wondering why no one had said anything to her about it. It could help her to look better. I suppose willingly it's possible to do rather gently and not to offend anyone. A question about possible pregnancy. Are you pregnant? May also put you in an uncomfortable situation. What if not? What if a person is not pregnant but just chubby? Even if she's really pregnant, avoid detailed questions anyway, unless you are not pregnant yourself. In this case, you may feel more open. Anyway, questions about IVF, adoption, and so on are really private ones. Although many Russians sometimes like to discuss their state of health a lot, it's better to let them talk first rather than to ask yourself. At the same time, it's very polite to ask about health in general, not getting deep into details. Question how are you feeling? How is your health? Reflects your concern about the person rather than an excessive curiosity. Question how old are you? Can be also rather inappropriate. In Russia, it's considered tactless to ask a woman about her age, but I say that it's not very nice for both genders. Here, I must admit I like to know one's age, but I never ask unless I'm not asked first, or our relations become more or less close. But by the way, it's completely fine to ask the age of a child. It may show your interest. What about plastic surgery? Asking strangers, and friends about whether or not they have any work done is generally not considered to be okay. Keep in mind that some people may actually hide it and might even act surprised when you ask them about it. So, even if your friend has unnaturally big lips, which have been clearly injected with fillers, you may just want to say, wow, nice lips, and wait until they open up to you about it. Family and relations. Family is one of the most sensitive topics, but the degree of comfort depends on many things, And of course, first of all, on how close you are to this or that family. But even being rather close, it's better to wait when a person starts first to talk about his or her life. Such private questions like, why don't you get married? Or when are you going to get married? Can also annoy the hell out of even close friends and relatives. As well as questions about kids. When are you going to have kids? Or are you going to have second, fourth, fifth kid? All the questions of this kind are rather aggravating. Question why are you dating this guy or girl is very untactful and may get people offended. Certainly it's a very private question, I think even more than the one about marriage and kids. And moreover, it doesn't sound very kind. Is it a girl or a boy? Recently I've noticed that people started to have negative reaction to question about the gender of future baby. I find it rather inoffensive, but perhaps many people consider it too private as well. Anyway, where is the reason to hold back something that is going to be obvious soon? But it's my personal opinion. Somebody may have a different one and it's fine. All intimate questions are usually not comfortable, even between close people. So better to avoid them. We rarely discuss such things, at least between girls, at least in detail. And I never feel comfortable being asked anything so private. Money. How much do you earn? One's paycheck is always a curious question, but quite never is a comfortable one. It's not decent at all to ask how much money one's earning, although some people willingly share this information. Anyway, don't ever ask it first. I suppose that the reason is not only in its immodesty, but also in an impressive gap between poor and rich people in our country. We basically don't have so-called middle class. So poor Russians are really poor ones, rich ones are often very rich. Yes, there are people who are not that rich but still have money for many things. But anyway, wages differ a lot, so question about their amount becomes very private one, even among rather close people. For instance, I never know how much quite all of my friends earn, unless they do tell it themselves, as well as I don't really know how much any of my relatives make. How much is your dress? It's interesting that I never ask people about their earnings, but easily can ask about cost of anything. Clothes, education, even apartment. Although such questions are not considered to be tactful either. I can't explain this fact, but perhaps this information is quite easy to get anyway, so nobody feels that awkward. Or maybe some people do, and sometimes I just act as bad-mannered. In any case, I don't see anything bad in asking questions on which you can get answers just searching the web. Could you lend me 1,000 rubles, please? Another untactful question concerns borrowing money, which is also inappropriate. But sometimes Russians still do it, and I wouldn't say that it's a rare occasion. And some people are very unwilling to give that money back. That's why we even have a proverb. If you want to lose a friend, then lend him some money. It's fine between really close friends, but not permanently anyway. For instance, I had a friend that used to borrow money for all possible reasons, and sometimes she invented those reasons. Once she called me saying that something urgent had happened and she needed some cash. She didn't mention any reason, just told that she couldn't tell me at the moment, only the following day. After I found out that she bought a new Dolce & Gabbana sweatshirt, imagine how dumb I felt. But I don't think it's a usual thing for Russians. It's more about exceptions. I'd also say that to let somebody borrow clothes or any other thing is not very comfortable either. But sometimes I do it with my besties. For us, it's okay. Religion. The last but not least topic to discuss is religion. The thing is that Russia is a country with many different traditions and religions within it. So you better not touch on religious aspects unless you don't know a person quite well. Most of us are Christians. Out of those, about 70% are Christian Orthodox. There are also Catholics and Protestants, but they are really few. About 10% are Muslims. Although there are many religions presented in Russia, others are not that numerous. And all the data is very approximate, because we don't have official statistics about religions, due to the fact that the Russian law forbids to request citizens their religious affiliation. I won't say that questions about religion are very uncomfortable, but still it's worth thinking twice before asking a thing or especially giving your personal opinion. Of course, within one family or among friends, there is nothing so tactless in such questions. Some of us are more religious, others are less, some are not at all, but we are not hiding it and it's okay to discuss it. One point that I didn't put in any list are questions concerning death. It's not something very untactful, but it's better to reconsider addressing this topic. We generally don't discuss in detail questions concerning death, neither with close people nor with strangers. I'm not sure that the same practice is in all Russian families, but I can say for sure that it's better not to ask questions about relatives that you don't know about. You may both get in an awkward situation or make someone summon up some inappropriate flashbacks. Even the question, "What's your grandma's name?" may hurt in case someone's granny had already passed away. I'm pretty sure that my list of uncomfortable questions that I presented today is not complete. And of course, different people have different concerns, which more often actually doesn't deal with a particular nationality. I just recommend to look for the common sense if you don't want to appear bad-mannered. So that's it for today. Please share in comments what questions are considered to be awkward in your country. Or perhaps you are Russian and will add something to my current list. Thank you for your attention and пока-пока!